You know, since I'm seeing all these movies so far after when they've been released, you can say I'm watching them down the line. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel and the fifth installment of my Wrong Turn review series. Today we're talking about the fifth film in the franchise, Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines. I already have a review of the first four movies up, and I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description in case you missed any of them. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the Wrong Turn movies were, if you've seen any of them, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews. It helps the algorithm out, it helps my channel out, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new films, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. But let's not waste any more time and let's talk about Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines. This takes place in a small West Virginia town, which is hosting the legendary Mountain Man Festival on Halloween, where throngs of costume partygoers gather for a wild night of music and mischief. But an inbred family of hillbilly cannibals kill the fun when they trick and treat themselves to a group of visiting college students. Once again written and directed by Declan O'Brien, this is another prequel to the original film, and it takes place sometime after the fourth movie. And it focuses once again on the three original cannibals from the first and fourth films, and it actually brings back another character from those movies, Maynard Odets, who's the caretaker of the cannibals. And once again, everyone returning is played by different actors, but we actually go back to having some recognizable faces in the cast. We actually have two Game of Thrones actors who appear here. One of the friends named Lyda is played by Roxanne McKee, who played Doria in the earlier seasons of the show. Meanwhile, there's a radio jockey who's played by Finn Jones, aka Loris Tyrell, who also played Iron Fist, and this was actually his feature debut, and Odette is now portrayed by Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead in most of the Hellraiser movies. And I will say, Bradley himself is one of the better parts of this movie, conveying just how creepy and despicable Odette is. He's seen repeatedly taunting some characters in a sometimes sadistic, eerie manner, while he'll also put on an act to lure other characters over to the cannibals, such as in the opening scene. And when he can, he really leans into the series' more over-the-top elements and would be one of the more entertaining aspects here, even though half the film has him locked up in a jail cell, only able to do so much, which speaks to how the film is as a whole. This is probably the first time I'd call any of the Wrong Turn movies boring, and that was the one word I didn't think I need to use to describe any of them. But after the first half hour or so, that feeling started to sink in, and by the hour mark, I started to mentally check out of this and was just waiting for it to be over. I don't know what the budget was on this movie, as well as most of the other sequels, but it felt like the budget for this was slashed here, which is saying something considering the obviously fake digital effects we saw in the third and fourth movies especially. But the action felt limited here. While we got some of the usual campy B-movie vibes that were present in nearly all the other movies, with some moments of creative kill sequences, it still felt confined, as opposed to the other movies where they took place in the woods or in a building so large that they felt as open as the woods. Most of this movie took place in a local jail cell, with the sheriff, played by Camilla Arfredson, watching over Odette and a few other characters who are locked up, while the cannibals wreak havoc only a block or two away, eventually making their way over to the rest of these characters. And we get a much talkier film than most of the other entries at this point, if not the talkiest. It's a bunch of characters arguing over what should be their next step, while Odette taunts them from a jail cell, and the action scenes, while silly and over the top enough, felt like an afterthought, with most of them being over as quickly as they began. There were a few genuinely entertaining moments, but nowhere near enough to make the movie enjoyable. And on top of that, as I've repeatedly said throughout this, while these aren't movies known for their compelling characters, there's usually always something that stands out about a few of them. Even if it's something bad, I usually remember one notable thing about them. This time, outside of Odette's, I couldn't tell you a single interesting thing about any of these characters, outside of whenever they get killed. These felt like the most disposable of all the characters in this franchise. A lot of them wind up setting themselves up to get captured or attacked by the cannibals, and for the rest of the characters who aren't so gullible, all they do is argue with one another. It felt like at this point there wasn't even an attempt to make them, or really anything, intriguing, making this feel like the most phoned in of all the entries thus far. I really don't have much to say about this one, as there's nothing really all that interesting about it. Even though it has a horror legend, Doug Bradley, as one of the leads here, and he is by far the most entertaining aspect of the film, he's still limited to only be able to do so much. And the same goes for the film as a whole. While it has some of the campy B-movie thrills as the other entries, they felt secondary to a lot of repetitive scenes of characters squabbling, haunting one another, and waiting around. It's a boring, lazy movie, and at this point, it's the worst entry I've seen in this series. Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines gets a 3.5 out of 10. Next up is the final entry in the series before we get to the reboot, Wrong Turn 6 Last Resort. Hopefully we'll go at least a little bit up just after this, but we'll see. Let me know though, did you see Wrong Turn 5 or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Was this one of your least favorite entries in the franchise? Did you like it at all? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.